classic game room, then more classic game room.
Alright, I'm back with part 2 of the Diablo 4 review. That rhymes. And I decided to betray my loyalty to Zaxxon the Barbarian by creating a sorcerer. I wanted to try another character, and the sorcerer is a lot better. But that's not to say that barbarians don't have their usefulness. Conan is very entertaining. Sorcerers roll business class, but she can wipe out so many enemies all at once. It's just so much fun to play as the sorcerer, who I named Lady J. If you don't get the reference, I'm sorry for your loss. I wanted to check out the whole Diablo 4 Season Pass thing, and you need to create a new character for that, so I'm exploring Sanctuary again, and finding the campaign much easier as a sorcerer, but I have decided that the entire season campaign thing is just a glorified marketing tool to entice you to buy their battle pass or whatever, which I guess gets you more armor and weapons and stuff or whatever, I don't know. I don't feel like spending any more money on the game, but I am enjoying the game just the way it is, which is, I think, a statement for the modern age. I could use a couple additional levels for Herzog Zwei on the Sega Genesis, which I purchased in 1989, but I don't need them. Actually, I kind of do need them. I take that back. Someone tell Technosoft to get on that and drop some DLC over the Sega channel. So there's 5 character classes to choose from, and I got stuck halfway through the campaign with Barbarian, so I decided I had to rework all of his skill points or whatever, but in the meantime I created the Sorcerer, and having some experience with the game just did a better job allocating her skill points so that she can wipe out a lot of enemies all at once, and that's a very important feature in this game. It's actually really hard just as one person with a club smashing things. You need to have an army of the undead or fire hydras. You gotta be able to drop meteors from space. Even if you're in a dungeon, somehow you can still drop meteors from space. The Fire Serpent Vortex Hurricane is tons of fun, and of course bouncing or chaining lightning bolts from one enemy to the other is very effective. You need a way to control the crowd in Diablo 4, or it just gets overwhelming if you're playing this game by yourself. If you're playing with a bunch of friends, I think it makes a little bit more sense, and I haven't quite reached the level 3 or 4 world tiers yet, but eventually I'll get there, and I suspect that's when you need some buddies playing Diablo 4 with you. You need someone to be able to rain fire, freeze, or electrocute all of the enemies on screen, while your friend sits back and just chews gum and throws rocks at them. So to the game's credit, the variety of ways in which you can allocate skill points or your magic, your attacks, that's basically what that means, the variety of ways that you can craft your character and the variety of characters does give Diablo 4 some nice replay value. I'm going to mess around with the Necromancer next, and I think I might actually try that thing where you create a character who can die in real life, or at least in real life in the game. If they die, they die. They're dead. They're out of the game. If they die, someone that you've never met and never seen dies in real life.
I need time to prepare.
That's what she said, because it is literally what she said. I love the variety of screaming sound effects in Diablo 4. Wonder if the developers have like this folder filled with 100,000 different screaming effects that they all made themselves after coming home from the bar one night. Whoa! We're gonna make the skeleton do that if they're electrocuted and standing on the swamp. Whoa! That's the sound effect if the skeleton is electrocuted in lava. It's very different. You gotta figure from the skeleton's perspective, it's a very different experience if they're electrocuted on lava versus some sort of frozen Arctic tundra or something. You know, what's their motivation for screaming? I'm standing in fire, but I'm already dead. However, this heartless lady running around with a staff just shot me in the face with a laser beam. That's more of an ah rather than an oh, you know. For one thing, my feet are on fire. Also, I'm dead. How did it come to this? I could go all day. Hey, let's create a new character. All right, is everyone ready? We're gonna make a new friend. Here's your character classes, and I think we need a Necromancer. This guy's great. I love it. My parents don't understand me. I just want to sit in my dark room and listen to Marilyn Manson while watching cat TikToks. I'm gonna name him. I was gonna go with MC Mundus, but I felt like that was too much of a CGR deep cut. Only 3 of you might get that. So I'm gonna go with Dr. 8-Ball. Because of course I am. Dr. 8-Ball likes to hang out in graveyards. So Necromancer is a lot of fun because you summon undead minions that do all of your dirty work for you. So you can sit there and just work on your eyeliner while your army of skeletons kills all of your enemies. I'm digging the Necromancer. It's tricky though, I'm finding it a little more amusing than anything. I'm not amusing, but you are. Because the sorcerer can slaughter enemies by just nuking them from orbit, and while still looking good, the barbarian is just good at like smashing things repeatedly. Necromancer's a little tough though, because you summon your minions using the enemy's rotting corpses, which is pretty cool. And they'll go and attack whoever you're trying to kill on screen, but you still got to make sure that your main character doesn't get surrounded, especially when playing hardcore mode. Because if you noticed on that screen earlier, if he dies before level 10, nobody will ever remember him. Nobody will ever remember Dr. 8-Ball. And we can't let that happen. See, isn't this great? He's just sitting back there painting his nails black while the skeletons do all the work, but this brings up some big questions. For example, as I'm running through town doing the Teen Wolf dance, there's bound to be a tavern. If I enter the tavern with my 5 undead minions, is it like ladies drink free night but with skeletons? Like, I don't want to pay for their beers, they're dead. I feel like the bar should be paying for their beers, or else, we may have to liquefy you and make a new friend out of your bubbling corpse. Just saying. Anyway, good news. He made it past level 10, so now when that horrible pit monster rips his head off, at least somebody out there will remember Dr. 8-Ball and all of the great things he's done. Like kicking over trash cans and slaughtering countless enemies on the field in Diablo 4. Anyway, I'm having a good time with the game. I'm still playing it and mess around with the different character classes. I have to defeat the campaign, which actually shouldn't be too hard now that the sorcerer's leveled up quite a bit. She just obliterates everything on screen. I find this is also one of these games that's good on the exercise bike for those of you who like to do 2 things at once, because you don't really have to pay attention to what you're doing, except unless you're playing maybe hardcore. But for the most part, you just run around and electrocute everything. And the campaign's alright. I find that the most exciting thing is actually just exploring and slaughtering. And that's that. Diablo 4, so maybe there'll be more of this, who knows. Maybe Dr. 8-Ball will unlock a new hardcore black t-shirt. Maybe Lady J will join a covert team of military operatives that specialize in fighting a terrorist organization named after a snake. Who knows what the future brings? But Diablo 4 is fun, and now you know. And knowing is half the battle. The other half... The other half is laughing as your enemies explode and dissolve into a pile of muck in front of you.